June, June 30, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. There was no economic data that came out to really move the market any particular direction. It was very choppy. Look at the pre-market, there was a two legs up, sideways, a sell-off to kind of a larger, very noisy looking trading range. Then was two legs back up, and then a sell-off. So there were a couple of trades that I thought were pretty good, like this one, which is a failed breakout triple test, and a second entry short, lower high, and a failed second entry long. I took one trade, but it was actually an incorrect positioning. I wanted to go short, but I accidentally went long. And when I quickly realized what happened, I closed out the trade. And then I also had to spend some time to make sure everything was closed out. So I immediately thought I should have just reversed it quickly, but since I already had a bad start to it, I decided to just, you know, wait for the next setup. And there was a next setup right here. So I'm going to get into the trades right now. Pre-market, you had a leg up, kind of two choppy legs, kind of a sideways and another leg up. Pressed for the most part sideways, then sold off. One leg down, pull back, second leg down, choppy. And it kind of sets up for the first setup. Creates a new low here. It was a first entry short. Go ahead and zoom in. First entry short, pull back, second entry short. I thought this was a possible trade because I like that the signal bar, which is actually this guy, ticked one tick above the previous, which failed to break the EMA, then flushed down, kind of engulfed it. I would have liked a complete definitive push below this previous, but it was a break of the green up channel, test the high. There looks like there's enough momentum to push down, and it looked like there was just kind of like two legs already pressed, but I had a measure move drawn because I was thinking, I think I had something like this. Actually, let me just restart that. I think I had something a little bit higher. I was wondering if a measure move has already been made. Let's see. Yeah, actually, I think I was having something like this. Excuse me. I've since deleted it, but it was something like one leg down, pull back, second leg down. So I wasn't really sure if it was, it had already tested low if it was going to continue down, but it was a possible trade. Pushes down, kind of moves sideways. EMA is acting as resistance. I found this support first, and I drew this blue one as a potential trading range. So it looks like it's two legs down, starts kind of moving back up. You have a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. I wanted a better signal bar. Then I was looking for a lower high. There was no lower high. Plus, I was thinking if this is a support, this is a potential failed breakout. It could, even though I have a second entry short, it could try to make another attempt up to test the high of this blue range. But it kind of chops sideways. I don't want to try to take any second entries here. Pushes down. Here it creates the low of this trading range. It confirms it pretty well. It's a new low. It's a first entry short. Technically, I have a second entry short here. Looks like a break of this orange up channel. Test the high. This was a little loose, so I wasn't really sure. I only had one touch, two touch confirmation. So although it looks pretty good, if it closed lower, then I would have probably treated it as a failed breakout, moved back into this tighter purple range. And then it sets up this, which I think is actually a decent setup. So this is actually one touch, two touch, three touch, triple test, failed breakout of this purple trading range. Looks like it made once out. It's the high now, looks like it's coming back down. Breaking this orange up channel, looks like it's two legs up. Final attempt, push down and close. So I actually wanted to go short here. I dropped my order in incorrectly. As you can see, this is my blue arrow. I actually entered long. So I entered long. I saw what was happening. It kind of moved down a little bit. Then it flushed up. And I said, okay, well, I'm clearly in the wrong positioning. I wanted to go short. I entered long, get out. So I exited out for just a 2 point, no, not 2 point, two tick gain. And I was just happy because I don't think it was going to go in the direction that I wanted. And I really wanted to go short. By the time it moved down and closed, I was too late to try to salvage my original intention and go short. Plus, when it closes here, already moved down here, it already moved more than I had wanted it to. But in this case, it would have worked. But, this is just a This is just me nerfing the trade. So kind of lesson learned, be a little more careful. Prices move down. Now I'm thinking that there could be a larger blue trading range because it has one touch, two touch, three touch. Bottom looks like it's supporting pretty well. There is a fail breakout here. Now it's another fail breakout. I'm looking for prices potentially to move back in. Moves one leg up, pull back. Moves a second leg up. And there's actually another setup that I thought was a possible trade. Looks like it's two measured legs up. Good signal bar. I wasn't really thinking of this purple trading range being in play anymore, and I was thinking everything's probably operating in this blue range. It had an almost touch rejection. Good signal bar, first entry short, second entry short. Enough room to get down to the lows, at least for a quick scalp. I think what also was making me nervous was this overshoot. I was thinking if there's going to be potential overshoot on this side, so it didn't hit the high, come back down, so it could still have another push up, so that made me a little hesitant. So I'm looking for a lower high. You kind of get a lower high here, but I didn't like the way it closed with too much stem. Prices then move down. This larger gray trading range doesn't exist yet, so it's just bouncing out in the middle of nowhere. It is a new high, first entry long, second entry long, but I saw it as a visual first entry, pullback, second entry. I didn't really like this because it's inside to this guy, so I'm looking for a higher low. And you don't really get the higher low, but this is an almost trade. It's a new low, first entry short, second entry short. What stopped me was I don't like that this is inside this one. It had to at least tick one above and then close like it did, or close below this guy with a stronger close. But since this is inside to this, it made me pause. It ends up working. It's also a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long failure, but this doesn't feel very strong. It pushes down. I did see a potential first entry long, second entry long, potential lower high, but at the time I had a trend line or support line right here. And I was thinking there's really no room to scalp out. Then later I found this guy. Bounces and pushes back up. It just gets noisy. I'm not really sure what happened here because as you can see, it closed. It actually gapped and opened here. So this is like a one tick gap. I'm not really sure what happened here. Prices bounced. I'm thinking there's a support area here and a potential resistance area here, but I don't really like this as a trading range. It just doesn't look clean. Prices then continue moving up. So new low, first entry short, second entry short failure. In real time, I'm thinking second entry short failure. It's a little spindly. There's too much tail on the both sides. I'm waiting for a higher low above the EMA. And you don't really get that. It kind of pushes up too high. By the time you get this higher low, it feels too late from the initial setup. Then prices continue moving up. Kind of chops around. New high, first entry long, pullback. You technically have a second entry long here, but I don't like that this signal bar is inside bar, so I'm leaving this alone. Then this sets up a really nice setup. So right now, prices clearly look like they're just ranging. There's no clear trend. I mean, there are shortened trend channels, but it looks like it's just oscillating in this big range. This big range, I found this, or I decided on this out of many. Go ahead and move that up a little bit. I saw it's like one touch, two touch with fail breakouts, three touch, but these are making lower highs every time. When I saw this as a new low. So this is my complete thinking process. There's a break of this green up channel. Break, test the high. Then it comes back, makes a second attempt. It fails to reach it. Comes back down, makes kind of a third attempt. I don't really know what's happening on this next candle yet, but I do see it as a localized new high. First entry long. Yes, it's a second entry long here, but it looks like it's more visual first entry because this one is within this guy. So I saw it's first entry, pullback, second entry. Second entry long has failed. And it's a new low here. First entry short, pullback, second entry short. Second entry short has confirmed. Good signal bar. This is a lower high. It looks like it's moving back into this very noisy range. Prices could be coming back down. So I actually like this trade. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. And to be honest, I wasn't I was kind of doubting it. I think I was thinking this red could still try to make an attempt up. And it was just kind of clouding my thoughts. Pushes down. I had no idea that it was going to do this. Kind of chops around and kind of moves back up. When it gets to here, I'm thinking, is this going to be a multiple test? Is this going to hold? But it's really strong, so I'm thinking potentially a fail breakout and then move back in. So breaks out. I find this orange up channel. It kind of chops sideways, and now it's really noisy because this is inside of this guy, and then this green one's inside of this red one. So I'm not really that keen on it now. Pops, starts moving down, moving back into range. Technically, have a new high, first entry long, pull back, second entry long. Second entry long looks like it's about to fail. It technically hasn't failed yet, but it looks like it's about to fail. It's a break of the screen down channel. It expects to test the low. Prices are moving back into range. It looks like it's one leg up, two attempts down, another leg up. Now it looks like it's another press down. I'm thinking it's going to test the low of this green again. It has a decent signal bar for close at the low, enough for an easy 1 point scalp in my opinion. It looks like it worked. It chops around. Then I shine this yellow down channel. It kind of holds somewhat, but then it hits this sideways consolidation. There's this huge candle, well, relatively speaking, because it's only about 4.75 points, but it pushes really high up. It is relatively considerably large for a day like today, where the ATR wasn't that strong. ATR was above 2, unlike last week, but it's still kind of meandering. Then it kind of corrects back. So I think this was some kind of Apple news or something, but it was just kind of wild watching this. I also saw this break of this yellow down channel, expecting a test of the low, and it does. So it creates a fail breakout here and creates another fail breakout corresponding to this breakout here, so symmetric. I'm thinking there's going to be a bounce, and maybe if it bounces, it might come back and test the low, but it could, because it's giving me a little bit mixed messages. This could be a fail breakout and it could move back into this larger gray trading range. It pushes up. I'm looking for a higher low. You don't get a higher low. It touches the EMA, so I'm thinking, okay, if the higher low shows up, it feels a little dicey because the EMA could be in play. Plus, this yellow down channel resistance might be in play. Pushes up, one leg up, pull back. Technically, you have a first entry short, and that's all you have. Technically, you have a second entry short here, but when you see this, it's too close to here. Second entry short above the EMA, it feels a little bit dicey because I do think it's going to come back and test the lows of this yellow, but I don't like seeing this stop short of the EMA. So I'm looking for a lower high now below the EMA. Looking for the lower high. Ideally, I'm hoping this candle is going to spike up, hit the EMA, and then reject down, ideally engulfing this guy and closing at the low, because there's still be enough room to get a quick scalp. This next candle, so now I'm very suspicious of higher low if it does form a higher low. Excuse me, if this does form a lower high. So we have first inch short, second inch short, lower high, but this is such a strong candle. This is definitely not looking like it's going to be a lower high. Kept pressing up, so I'm abandoning all thoughts of going short, but I'm certainly not thinking of going long just yet. I saw this. It was a triple test, visual first entry, pullback, second entry. I just didn't like the way this candle closed. Looking for the lower high again, but again, it doesn't show up. It just kind of presses down. Pushes up, first entry short. This creates a second entry short failure, but when I see this in real time, I see this purple up channel break, test the high. So it's tested the high. The upward momentum could have played out. This is a decent signal bar, but it made a first entry short, second entry short. This second entry short signal bar has already made a new high. So it could be exhausted, but I'm not really sure. What I really want is the next few candles to create a lower high to give me a little bit of peace of mind that maybe it's going to come back down to here. But I'm playing in a very tight range because if it creates a lower high, it's probably already getting close to this lower bound of this range. And the range could still be in play. Prices could be moving back in to test the highs. So a lot of conflicting thoughts as I notice this and try to analyze what's going on. Presses up. So it's hitting the high of this pre-market range again. So I'm very curious to see if it's going to have a fail breakout, or is it really going to break out strongly? Looks like it's pushing really strongly up and out. There's no real second entries. I drew this yellow up channel because initially I was playing this purple one, break, but then it looks like prices could be contained in this larger yellow up channel. There's no real second entries, first entry long. And it keeps making higher and highs. Presses, test the high a day, and it keeps going. There's a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. It's testing the high of day. It feels counter trend though, because Clearly the momentum's up. It feels dangerous to go short on something like this unless you have clear indications coming back or correcting. And then this next follow-up candle is inside of this, so it doesn't feel that safe. It's a new high, first entry long, pull back. It creates a second entry long here, but I was not thinking of taking a trade when I see this. It just feels noisy inside this one. And the finish on this candle wasn't even at the high, so I wasn't even thinking going long here. Confirms first entry, second entry long. I'm looking for a higher low. Presses down. It kind of makes a double bottom. Actually, it's slightly lower. I don't really like this now, so I'm not thinking of going long, but I'm not thinking of going short. It does make a measured move right to the tick, but it feels a little early to think of a reversal. I did see this as a potential support of a potential developing trading range because I was thinking of something. There could be a range, something like this, not drawn very well. Starts moving back in, creates one leg up, first entry short. Then it creates this higher low possibility. Higher low, though, is inside this bar. So even though it's a higher low, I marked it. It's late in the day. I just didn't really think it was worthwhile trying to take a trade or take a risk, especially when I was able to escape on a totally user error. This is on me. This totally bogus. Took the wrong, meant to go short, went long, and I survived it. So I should just be happy. And then if I passed up these earlier decent setups, then I certainly was going to try to make something happen on a day like this. So I consider today a pretty close to a no trade day or a scratch day. So I didn't really win, even though I came out with a very little bit of profit. At least I didn't lose. Creates this higher low. I didn't really like it. Pushes up and it hits the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes, it kind of gets wild because there's a lot of candles printing the last 10 minutes. I was thinking this orange up channel going up, no clear second entries. You have a new high. You have a first entry right down here, pushes up. Then it kind of creates a new low. So you really can't count it as a first entry, second entry. It just looks a little bit messy. New low here, it's a first entry short. And then you really don't get a second entry short. And this is all within the last minute from here. You can see it's 12:59 Pacific Standard all the way over to here. This is all in 1 minute. So this is printing very quickly. And I do not want to take any of these trades because I don't want to get stuck. That kind of pushes into the close, kind of following and still going this apparent channel coming back down. So overall, the price action today was kind of noisy. There were two decent setups. One of them I messed up, so that's totally on me. This failed breakout triple test, I think, was a potential trade. And then this one was probably a decent setup as well. Maybe this one as well. So there weren't very many, but there were the ones that did set up were actually, I think, in my opinion, pretty decent. So hopefully that was helpful.